Hey, what's going down, everybody? It's your boy David, and I'm coming at you with another episode of the Free Play Mode Quick Hit, and it is February 21st, 2016, and this is going to be part 3 of my Rant series. And as everybody knows, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm a big fan of Rich from Review Tech USA. I do enjoy his work, and even though I don't agree with everything he says 100% of the time, I do think he makes some valid points about the state of video gaming. And in his previous video, he was talking about Street Fighter V, and who hasn't these days, to be honest with you. I recently made a 30-minute long video about it with New Gaming Order's Alex Lexus. You go check that out on my channel. But what I want to talk about is, are video games forsaking their core audience for the sake of going after the big money with esports? And here's what Rich from Review Tech USA said about it in his video.
So basically what Capcom is saying is that we don't give a shit about the casual player, the guys like me who actually financially supported the series since for over 20 years now. We just care about the esports. That's where the money is. We care about esports. We care about the people who are dedicated to this, who may make, fighting games their career. Guys like you, Rich, you fat bastard, fuck you. You ain't playing Street Fighter V. We don't care about you. If you want to play it, go out and buy one of our fucking $60 game fighting pads or $200 Mad Catz game sticks and get into fight and get dedicated to it. But if you don't want to get dedicated to it, get the fuck out of the way. This game is no longer for you, even though you're the reason that Street Fighter is where it is.
So, is that really happening? And to a degree, I'd have to say yes, because if you look at Street Fighter V right now, as it stands today, when it launched on the 16th, there's no arcade mode. There's really no single player mode outside of the survival mode and the very quick, you can't even really call it story mode, because these are more like prologues to every character, and they say that the story mode is coming this summer. But where the game is now, that's pretty much unacceptable, because let's be real. I'm gonna have to show my age here, because I was born in 1980 and I played Street Fighter growing up like many other kids did. And we're the ones who pretty much made that series what it is today. And arcade mode is a staple of fighting games. Like, you cannot find a fighting game that has been released since 1989 and today without an arcade mode. And what I mean by arcade mode is just a simple you versus the CPU, being able to choose your difficulty and go up against however many opponents. Usually it's all the characters in the game, or at least a pretty decent amount of characters in the game, before you go up against a final boss character. And then if you beat the final boss character, you get an ending. That's kind of the standard when it comes to fighting games. And Street Fighter V is the first game I've seen that has launched without an arcade mode, and that's just ridiculous. So it got me thinking, are video games forsaking their core audience to go after that esports money? And I have to say, to a degree, yes, because just like with Street Fighter, you're seeing it with first-person shooters like Call of Duty and Halo are the main ones, because even Halo used to have a more comprehensive story. And with Halo 5, the story mode for any Halo veteran, if you've been playing it since the first one back in 2001, is about 6 hours long. And Halo 1, 2, 3, even Reach were at least 8-hour adventures, and it kind of makes you kind of head scratch. And Call of Duty, their story mode was a lot more involved than it is now. And even though they have big name actors stepping up to do the story mode within Call of Duty, it still feels kind of cheap and kind of a short-sighted experience. And it's like, where do you go? What are you doing? Are you really gonna... I can understand wanting to get that multiplayer aspect out there, but the companies these days like Capcom and Activision and Bungie, well, not Bungie, 343 Industries and Microsoft, they're going after the esports dollars, and they're essentially telling their casuals like, hey, you guys got to step up and be the hardcore of the hardcore now and dedicate and go online if you want to have any real experience with this game. And as a 35-year-old person, I have responsibilities. I have a job. My job is not professional gaming. Like, I cannot afford to dedicate that amount of time to get good enough at a game to where I'll have the maximum amount of enjoyment with it. Yes, I'm pretty good at Street Fighter. I'm not professional level. I'm not tournament level, but I can hold my own against people. And I do derive a degree of enjoyment from the game, as well as various other fighting games and various other first-person shooters. But to enjoy the game to its fullest potential, developers these days are saying, hey, in order for you to do that, you have to go online and you have to get your ass beat daily, day in, day out, in order to grind and truly learn the maps on this game, or truly learn the fighting mechanics, truly learn the tech behind the fighting game system. And they're phasing out the people who just want to come home, sit down, and enjoy like a versus match with a CPU, or enjoy like a long story mode where you can like invest a significant amount of time and get your money's worth simply from a single player mode perspective. Hopefully the latest Gears of War does not go down this path, because I do enjoy the Gears of War story. But the way Halo has come out, where it's being geared towards esports, because you've seen Halo at the X Games, you see now that Microsoft has the Halo Pro Tour, it's getting to the point where these developers, it's not like music where an artist will come out and he has a small but loyal fan base, and as he expands, he has to gear his music more towards the mainstream if he wants to become successful in terms of monetary. Like, it's kind of the opposite with video games, it seems, because like when before you would grow your audience and you would grow your audience and you would grow your audience off the single player aspects of the game, because honestly, comprehensive multiplayer did not exist up until like the mid 2000s, when you had, well, at least on a console perspective, but it really didn't exist up until the mid 2000s when Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 came out, and that's when it really started getting into high gear. But it seems like instead of going after a wider audience, they're going after a less restrictive audience by gearing their games towards esport compatibility. And let's be real here. There are very, very few people who make a living playing fighting games for a living. And there are very few people making an actual living that do first-person shooters for a living. And there are very few people that make a living doing MOBAs for a living. That number of people is literally in the low, I'd say, I would venture to guess not even 1,500 people around the world make a legitimate living to where that's all they do. But it's like, why would you do this? Why would you gear your game towards that small group of people and not the millions of people that made your game popular, that brought you to the dance, that made you are what you are today? I can understand wanting to include esport compatibility within your game, but don't do it at the cost of your core gamers, because like Rich said, he's been driven away from Street Fighter. Like, he's honestly not considering buying the game, even if it becomes a reduced price game in the future, which by all indicators from what Capcom has said, they're just gonna release updates and updates and updates. This is the only version of Street Fighter 5 that you'll be able to buy. It doesn't look to do that, so you're driving away core audience members like Rich, and essentially it almost did it to myself, because I was strongly not considering getting the game, and quite honestly, I'm almost wishing I hadn't if I had known that there was not going to be an arcade mode. that there was not going to be a significant single player mode within this game, because that's just very unacceptable. I really do hope that this is like a black sheep, an outlier to this thing, and gaming companies across the board that are competitive and that produce competitive in nature games don't follow Street Fighter's lead. I hope we don't see like Madden with just multiplayer online only and maybe a single player, like just a small snippet of a single player mode, or we don't see NBA 2K with just my team mode and just, hey, maybe we'll give them like just a single season type mode for them to hold them over while we cater to the online people. And I really hope that video game companies see that catering to just a small audience of people who are professional gamers, who are esporters, and who are looking to get into esports is a losing proposition. And then they need to focus more heavily on the single player aspect. Yes, multiplayer is great. I do love going on Xbox Live, and I do love going online with the PC and playing games, but there are those days where I just want to sit down by myself in my living room and just play a single player aspect of a fighting game or a first person shooter. Or sometimes it's just getting ridiculous, man. And there are those days where you just feel that you can't win online and you just want to retreat into a single player mode. But games like Street Fighter V currently are not allowing you to do that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, or if you're feeling creative, create a video follow-up to this video. Do you think esports are taking over the way games are made? And do you think it's wrong for gaming companies to cater towards the esports genre and the esports crowd, forsaking their core audience? Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like or dislike it. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do so. This is David from the Free Play Mode, hoping you have a good afternoon. Peace, y'all. I'm out.